Hi guys, I'm Nightwing DM. My real name's Phil. You're going to notice a little bit of a similarity between me and Towerguarddm, who seems to be a really nice guy. I've never talked to him, but I've watched some of his videos and really like the way he presented himself talking about Dungeons and Dragons. And that's going to be my topic here today. I'm going to talk about 4E a little bit and my thoughts on it. And I have a lot of similar thoughts in common with Towerguarddm. I've been playing D&D since 1978. I've played first, second, third and a half. Now I'm using Pathfinder. I've played 4th edition. 4th edition lacks the flavor to the prior games, the prior editions. I'm not a purist by any stretch of the imagination. I'm all about progressing to the next level, and that next level being an improvement from the last. But this isn't an improvement, it is an entirely different game. 3.5 was a natural progression from the other editions. And Pathfinder is a natural progression from that. 4th is a game all its own. Now, I'm not a 4E hater. If you play 4E, great. But as far as the mechanics are concerned, I believe that it requires, now take this with a grain of salt because I haven't played it in a couple of years, 4E that is. But I believe that it requires you to have, as a DM, a certain set of characters, or classes rather, to be able, for the characters to be able to survive to a point, or to make the adventure challenging the way it was meant to be. In prior editions, you were able to mix and match classes, races, you name it. Come up with your own class, customize, what have you. And I'm sure you can come up with your own classes for 4E, but it's limiting to the player. Now, as a DM, setting aside the roleplay aspect of things, as a DM, tactically, when you're doing combat, it's great. Or it was, like I said, I haven't played it in a couple of years, so I don't know how it's progressed. But you're able to kind of move things along at a flow that was pretty good, and everything was kind of crisp, pretty clear as far as how the tactical aspect of it worked, and adjudicating rules as far as tactical goes was great. Then I played it. I couldn't get into it. I couldn't make the character that I wanted. I was more concerned about the personality of the character than the class. I have a group that plays every Saturday night. We've been playing for years. We're one of those groups that's been together for God, I don't know how long. I know 2 of the people in my group I've been playing with for 19 years so far. Another one, he's been with the group for 7 now. I've got another one that's been with the group for 5. So, it's a hobby of ours that we really enjoy playing. But I wasn't able to mix those classes the way I wanted and come up with what I wanted to play. We take the personality of the character. I get a concept in my mind, and every one of us do this in my group. I get a concept in my mind as to what I want the character to be as far as his personality goes. And then I build the components of the character around that, the class. The race is actually there at the base because that's part of the personality. But I couldn't really do that with 4E. I didn't feel I could. So it was limiting. And the roleplay aspect of it, going from, and I'm going to paraphrase what Towerguarddm said about this, but going from roleplay into the tactical aspect of it, combat, it was a mood breaker. It was for us. And we played it. I've got the books down there, some of them. I gave it a good, that old college try, but it just wasn't for me. Now, if you play it, great. If you like it, fantastic. I don't fault anybody for liking a different edition than me. Honestly, to me, the best edition, and I'm going to have people jump all over me for this, was 2E. I loved 2E. As broken as that game was, I loved it. Most of the books I have on the shelf over my shoulder here. Second edition. The next obvious would be third. I have most of my first edition books still. And you can see like a first edition Greyhawk box set over my shoulder here, pointing all over the place. But it's a mood breaker to go from that to the tactical aspect of it. It just didn't seem to flow well. So I think part of the reason that there's an issue is that flavor, and I'm going to say it, all right? That part of the reason that flavor isn't there is it's not Gygaxian in nature. It seems like they've wanted to take the game and push it in a completely different direction. Well, let's think about that. Wizards of the Coast is a subsidiary of Hasbro. Hasbro is a corporation. What is the goal of a corporation? To make money. Bottom line is the profit. So you've got people like me, who's been playing since first edition, these old schoolers, coming up through the years, been faithful, buying the products, what have you. Well, now there's a new generation coming in, and this is the MMORG generation. I played EverQuest for 2 years, and when I first started playing it, for the first 2 years I played it, I was just astounded. And to me, it was almost D&D, a visual representation of D&D, and it got boring. And ever since then, every other MMORG I've tried has been the same as EverQuest with a different face on it. I even tried Star Trek Online, same thing with a different face on it. Tried Star Wars: The Old Republic with a friend of mine, one of my gaming buddies in Florida. I can't get into it anymore. Anyway, 4E to me played like an MMORG, the rules. So it's not something that I was interested in, but that's the generation of people we've got coming up now. And the easier it is to learn, the less of a learning curve there is, the quicker people are going to jump on it. 3.5's got a difficult learning curve for somebody who's never played. 4E, not so much. So you put 3.5 in front of somebody, have them look at the book, and then 4E, and have them look at the book, review them both, and say, now which one, and they've never played an RPG in their life, which one would they pick? 4E. So it's a quick and easy seller. Now 5E, Towerguarddm kind of hit the nail on the head here. 5E, they say they want their input, our input as players. And their goal is to bring the split that the editions created between players together. This is a business move, I believe. When they came up with 4E, Pathfinder grew out of that drop of 3.5, and there are a lot of people that have diverted themselves from Wizards of the Coast to Pathfinder for that reason, because it's a natural progression of the 3.5 rules. So and again, remember, Wizards of the Coast is Hasbro. Their policies and rules and regulations and what they're allowed to do comes from Hasbro. I mean, that's just a fact. And the bottom line is, well, what can we do to increase profits? You got a line of books, you're selling them, they're doing great. At some point that may become stagnant. Well, what can we do to improve that? And their thoughts on 4th edition was to completely change the direction to appeal to the newer generation. 5e, again, in order for it to encompass, in order for them to bridge that gap, that version gap, they're going to have to make all this other stuff compatible, I think. Now, I'm not a game designer. I do this as a hobby, so I could be wrong, but that's in order for them to do that. That's what they're going to have to do, I think. But I'm approaching this with an open mind. I'll look at it. I may even buy the player's handbook just to see what it looks like and what the rules are like. And, we may even play test it. I am certainly not going to push, because I made the mistake of pushing 4e before I really knew what it was. I'm not going to make the same mistake this time. I'm going to reserve my judgment. Now, Wizards of the Coast did a good job with 3.5. But they only have one edition under their belt. The prior 2 editions were by TSR. Wizards of the Coast bought them. Well, Hasbro bought them. I wasn't angry at them for 4e. I'm still not. I understand why they did what they did. But 5e, and I'm going to paraphrase Towerguarddm, no matter what we say, is going to end up being their game. It is their game. D&D is not our game. It belongs to Wizards of the Coast. Towerguarddm also said how we approach the problems that we have with mechanics or any part of that edition, meaning 5e, is going to have a big impact on whether or not they listen to us. So a rant is not going to get us anywhere. We need to be very concise, specific, and professional about what we're presenting. If you don't like a certain mechanic, figure out a way to tell them why. Not just, I don't like it. That doesn't work. I don't like it. Well, I don't like a lot of things. I don't like getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go to work. I do it. I walk in and tell my boss, I don't like it. Too bad. That's the same reaction that you'll have. You can't tell me why. I'm sorry, I can't help you. So just kind of keep that in mind. Again, this is my first vlog, guys, so be patient with me. I'm going to try and do some more here in the future regarding D&D. Probably a lot of it will be more about kind of the campaigns that we're running and stuff like that. But I really appreciate your time. Feel free to leave any constructive criticism in the comments section, and I'll take them to heart. Again, hats off to Towerguarddm. I think you do a really good presentation of your blogs, and at some point I think I'd like to be in contact with you and swap ideas as far as campaigns goes, and see what you think about ours and vice versa, and ideas. So you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you later.